What's up, everybody? We're back with another new episode of the Last Wave podcast. We dive into topics like ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, nerd stuff, and conspiracies. As always, thanks for listening. It means a whole lot to us. Check out all of our social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, Patreon.com. We just started a blog, which you can find links to on the Facebook page. Pretty much everywhere. We're all over the place at this point. We're always putting cool stuff, different articles, things like photos from some of these episodes up on our social media accounts as well. So just a lot going on, a whole lot to deal with. The blog has only got a couple posts and it's already launched to a couple hundred views a piece. So we got a lot going on for sure. Now, if you've ever seen an episode of mine, you've heard the intro, and one of the things that I mention is nerd stuff. That's one of the things we haven't really gone over. So today we're going to do things a little bit differently. As you can tell by the thumbnail, this is Nerd Files Episode 1. And today we're actually going to go over something that I find pretty interesting. So, of course, I do have a love for all things paranormal, but also a huge nerd. And today we are doing this new series, because we don't have enough new series on the channel for sure. But basically, we're just going to chat about random nerd stuff. New games coming out, new movies, just random updates. If a news of a massive new gaming console drops, or just random stuff like that. But today we're going over the new Magic the Gathering Netflix show that's in production. Now, Magic the Gathering, for those of you that don't know, is a trading card game that's really popular nowadays. But I started playing it in the 90s as a teenager. So the game has steadily been building for a long time. It's an international hit. There are some short videos online. There's books, comics, toys, video games, and of course, tons and tons and tons of cards. So it's very popular. I enjoy it. I still play every now and then, just random nights out with friends and stuff like that. But I haven't been really competitive into it for years. But it's still a massive, massive thing. They just dropped Magic the Gathering Online, or Magic the Gathering Arena, whatever it's called. And people play that pretty regularly, I mean daily. So, like I said, it's still a massive thing. But anyway, first off, with this show, it's obviously going to be on Netflix, which is really good, I think. I think it'll give them a lot of leeway with what they can do, and we're not really constrain them to network TV rules. They can kind of let loose and see what kind of stories they want to go with. The executive producers are the Russo brothers, who had major roles in production of Marvel movies in their universe, including Captain America and its sequels, as well as the Avengers. So this is an incredible boost. I got to imagine they would be bringing some AAA level stuff to the world of Magic the Gathering. And a lot of people really don't know, like, you just see a card game and you just expect it's just a card game, but for years they've been steadily building lore and different stuff. Like, each new set of cards that comes out has a theme, it has heroes, villains, and a lot of them kind of tie together. They're called different planes, so it really fits in well with the normal setup of like a Marvel universe. It's just a multiverse, different planes, planes of existence, more or less. So this is such an interesting project, though. It is surprising that something most people see as a small-time game has become such a phenomenon around the world, but it really has. The one thing that the creative team should keep in mind is that the franchise has been around longer than most of its fans have probably even been around. So, I mean, Magic launched in 1993 and has again gained renown around the world. The company that puts out the cards, Wizards of the Coast, is now actually a subsidiary of Hasbro. So that could certainly explain the increase in worldwide branding. But that being said, again, this franchise has been around and is loved and adored by its diehard fans. So doing the first ever realistic show justice is very important. Now, given the producers as well as the rest of the team, I do have some confidence in the project. The writers on the project actually had their hands in some like fan favorite shows as well, including Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which is an animated show. Has a huge audience and has now become canon in the actual Star Wars universe. Also, writers who worked on the Amazon TV show The Tick, which is pretty straight. It's a pretty good show. I enjoy it. So hopefully there will be some humor in there, some antics, as well as some action and things of that nature that we're more used to in the Transformers slash Star Wars slash Marvel realms. And talking about that a little bit more, the animation team is from a varied area of places. They have people from The Simpsons, Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman, Transformers Animated. So I mean, we as fans have been accustomed to 3D style animations. If you look up any of the trailers for Magic the Gathering, they're all like highly rendered video game cutscenes, more or less. So they're all 3D. It all looks really cool. But that's what the launch trailers are. So most of these teams that are, Rick and Morty, Simpsons, BoJack, they're all used to working in almost a 2.5D style world, not necessarily fully realized 3D. So, we're kind of anxious to see how, that team will approach it for sure. But the storyline so far is still under wraps. But it will apparently deal with the Planeswalkers, which are the heroes and villains of the game. Those are, characters that have the ability to traverse between the realms. Some of them protect it, some of them try to destroy stuff, obviously. Again, it sounds very Marvel. It's very Marvel-like universe, really. But that should be pretty sweet. That it actually, all the settings you could go to, you could pop into different universes basically at a whim. So you could just have a fight here, have a fight there. There's a lot they could really do to it, especially with all the characters, the creatures. I mean, you've got 2 decades at least of random creatures that have been created that you can use. So there's plenty to use for sure. But yeah, again, there's not a whole lot you can find about the storyline right now. All in all, I think fans are pretty pumped about it. I'm really anxious to see what the art style is going to look like, and hopefully they will pursue something not necessarily kid friendly. But I guess we will see when it does release, which will hopefully be next year. So we'll see what happens. But usually Netflix releases all at one time. However, some shows on different platforms are starting to do that every week thing. I know The Mandalorian on Disney Plus is once a week, I believe. There's a couple shows on Hulu that do the once a week drop episodes. So who knows by the time it arrives. But all in all, it's fairly exciting. Again, you've got a great team of writers, great team of artists. It should be a really good show. The one thing that concerns me is just how they're going to do it, because there's a book that was released along with one of the most recent sets, and reading a little bit into that, I don't like the feel of it, and apparently that's a lot of the characters they're going to use. So, and this one is the War of the Spark book. It's mainstream. You can find it at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, pretty much anywhere. But it just doesn't have a good adult feel to it. It made all of the Planeswalkers teenagers. So they basically have like teenage problems, like they're talking about like relationships and all that shenanigans, and that's not what we want. We want people, fighting and flinging fire and ice and creatures and all that stuff. We don't want teen anxiety. We don't want a teen angst drama. We want action and adventuring and all that good stuff. So it really could go either way, but I guess we'll see when it releases and when we finally get some trailers for it start rolling out. Either way, most of the fans are pretty excited, given the sheer force of the team that's behind it. So hopefully it'll do well. Either way, we will see when we find out some more information about it. It's going to be a short episode today. This is one of the earlier episodes I wrote. We just never really got around to it. So again, short episode today. Nerd Files episode 1. Probably do a couple of these here and there, just to anytime some big news releases or something really cool comes out. But either way, appreciate you watching, appreciate you listening. Check us out everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. Follow the links to the blog. That's the Last Wave blog. We're everywhere. Wherever you can find us is pretty much where we're at. And we're always branching out to new media as well. So, again, as always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.